Hey guys, let's roast some Nords. Today we're going to dip our toes into the politics of Skyrim and talk about the upcoming Moot. For those of you who are inherently superior to Nords, low bar, I know, let me take a moment to explain what a Moot actually is. To be honest, it probably won't even take a moment. These tundra people aren't capable of thinking up anything complicated. A Moot is a meeting of Skyrim's jarls, wherein one of the jarls is elected to take up the office of High King or Queen. It's usually held when the previous king or queen can't get laid and dies without heirs. There, I explained it. Sadly, High King Torrig got whacked before he could create any splooge goblins of his own. Sadly for Torrig, that is. I think it's super funny. But that means a Moot is coming. And I'm here to do my part as a proud, very not citizen of Skyrim and help you unlovable Vikings decide which jarl to vote for. I'm going to include both Imperial and Stormcloak-aligned candidates in this video. You can rest assured that if I was still alive, I'd chuck bar dow at Skyrim no matter which of these taint-waffle factions controlled that snowy cesspit. So don't make the mistake of thinking I care who wins this fucking thing. First up, Skald, the Stormcloak nominee from the Pale. Skald is an old fart that carries with it a hint of diarrhea that one can feel in their trousers at the tail end of a flatulent tempest. He took the throne, if you can even call that icy rocking chair a throne, when he was little more than a boy. And it fucking shows. He's a spoiled cunt with an intelligence quotient equal to 1 minus 1 divided by 0. Also, his reign as Jarl saw Dawnstar crippled by Vermina's plague of nightmares. Aw, Whittlebaby can't even handle bad dweems. Fuck this guy. Brina Merilis. Brina is the Imperial nominee from the Pale, and she's pretty much just Skald, but with a bigger dick and a misplaced sense of loyalty to the mongrel dogs of the Empire. Congratulations, Brina. You just won a first-class ticket to the no-vote section. Bye. Up next, Dengir of Stun, the Stormcloak candidate from Falkreath whose deranged paranoia could put even Glarthirs to shame. Dengir wasted so much goddamn time searching for Imperial spies under his bed that he let his intellectually disabled nephew coup his ass right out of the Jarl's longhouse. Now the paranoiac old fuck contributes to his hold's well-being by, abusing his maid, I guess. All that to say, hard pass from Daddy D and the 6th House gang. Let's move on to the dumbass nephew. Yeah, that's right. Sidgeir, the Imperial nominee from Uncle Dengir's very same hold. They say Sidgeir's ugly mug is engraved beside the word stupid douche in the Tamrielic dictionary. Wait, fuck, that's 2 words. Anyway, Sidgeir's whole family tree is descended from a vampire, so maybe bear that in mind while this little shithead bleeds you dry in taxes like the Imperial bootlicking Nosferatu spawn that he is. Honestly, Sidgeir and Dengir are 2 sides of the same coin. Aside from Dengir being paranoid and presumably having more gray hair on his Molag ballsack, he and his nephew are 2 peas in a racially inferior pod. Let's move on. The Stormcloak nominee from the Reach, Thongvor Silverblood. I still haven't decided whether having the word thong in your name is an asset or a liability. But either way, Thongvor is definitely a fuckface who somehow convinced himself that he and his racially inferior family are entitled to run Markarth as if they're a 6th house or a tribe unmourned. So sorry, but unless you're a Dagoth, you really just don't deserve nepotism. Let's get to the next candidate. Here's Igmund, the Imperial candidate from the Oh, wait, hold on, I forgot something. I do support the Silverblood stance on labor rights. It's a shame most of those workers benefiting from those labor rights in Sidna Mine aren't members of the more worker-oriented races like, say, for example, Argonians. Anyway, this is Igmund, Thongstrap Silverblood's Imperial rival for the Jarldom of the Reach. I'd hate to drop the whole sins of the father turd on Igmund's goofy-looking head, but I'm gonna do it anyway. Igmund's daddy was the Reach's previous Jarl, and he couldn't even manage to keep those Satanist hill people at bay when the Imperials left to fight the Great War. Sadly, the Igmund apple hasn't fallen very far from the racially lesser tree. Markarth is barely hanging by a thread. And why? Because of a bunch of Breton Neanderthals? Come on, Igmund. Ugly, impotent, and helplessly reliant on Markarth's corrupt aristocracy, Igmund doesn't stand a snowball's chance in the Foyada Mamea of winning the Moot. Sit your ass down in the no-vote section, son. Kingship is not your destiny today. Let's move on to Sorley the Builder, the Stormcloak-backed candidate from some place called Yalmarch. Sorley's one of those chalky-haired honey bunnies that could be anywhere from age 30 to 30,000. But I'm not an ageist, so my Dagoth is here for it either way. is what I would say if she wasn't a filthy fucking Nord. Sorley comes with a lot of outlander baggage, namely her ginger husband Pictur and their ginger fail son Sirgar. The family runs Rockwallow Mine outside of Stonehills, where they've, for whatever fucked up reason, decided it prudent to pay their Argonians for their labor. I used to say the only thing dumber than a Nord is an orc, but now I'm going to tweak that statement to say the only thing dumber than a Nord is an orc, and also a Nord who pays Argonians. Let's send this lady into the no-vote section and move on to her Imperial-nominated rival. Idgrod Ravencrone, reigning Jarl of Hjalmarch since I assumed the First Era based on her appearance. Her face looks like the palm of a hand after a 12-hour-long bath. Idgrod has been blessed by the 8 divines with mystical visions otherwise known as paranoid schizophrenia. She's also a voracious cougar old enough to be her husband's 10th great-grandmother, but hey, whatever floats your longship, you terrifying hag. Sure, the old bat might make for a decent witches' festival decoration, but for a High Queen of Skyrim, I think not. Ah, yes. We have here a candidate who can always be relied upon to remind the forlorn or downcast mortal that they are not, in fact, the most useless person in Tamriel. This is Layla Lawgiver, the Stormcloak nominee from that dumpster fire of a hold known as Riften. Let's not mince words here. Layla's a figurehead for the Mafia. She's also the mother of Harold and Serland, 2 of the most disappointing sacks of flesh to have ever been shit out of a Nord chick's birth canal. Layla gives far fewer laws than her name suggests, since she's pretty much just an Ulfric Stormcloak simpet propped up by the Donna Corleone of Riften's seedy underworld. That's right. Talking about my honey baby Maven Blackbriar. She'd probably sock me square in the sternum if I ever called her honey baby to her pissed-off face, but goddammit, that's exactly what makes Maven Blackbriar such a catch. She's a no-nonsense gangster packing all the corruption, destruction, and absolute seduction an evil god could ever ask for in his god queen. Which makes it all the more heartbreaking to discover she's a member of the stinkiest, hairiest, dumbest race of all the human tribes in Tamriel. How I wish my people could call the Nords our equals. Oh, what fun we could have had. Anyway, my considerably aroused Dagoth aside, Maven would be a really not good High Queen. She's already the de facto shadow Jarl of Riften, and you don't need eyes to see what a shithole that place has become under her rule. Even a blind man could smell the feces. Oh man, Elisif the Fair. I actually feel kinda bad roasting this poor ditz. She's been through the fucking ringer twice over and then some. Dead husband, dead brain cells, dead, I don't know, parents? They're probably dead. I'm just saying 4E201 has been hard on Elisif. And this Moot isn't gonna make life any easier for her. Wanna know why? 'Cause she's not getting our fucking vote, that's why. Let's move on to Whiterun. This is Vignar Greymane, the Stormcloak candidate. Look at that mustache. He's either a sheriff or a predator. Either way, disqualified due to my profound loss of comfort when I look at him. Next, please. Ah, wonderful. It's Balgruuf the Greater. That's so awesome. Anyway, don't let this dickhead's enlightened centrist act fool you. When push comes to shove, Balgruuf sides with the mongrel dogs of the Empire. Not that it makes much of a difference to me. I just want you voters fully aware of the candidate's allegiance before you cast your ballots. This guy has a Dunmer housecarl, though. And while you might think I'd consider that a redeeming quality, I'm more upset that there exists a fine Dunmer specimen that would work for a Nord. Yuck. It's gonna be a no-go from us, Balgruuf. Sit down next to Vignar, you're both enormous losers. Oh, hell yeah, we're doing the stupid-ass Winterhold ones. Winterhold's super funny because the entire hold is pretty much a useless tundra, and the eponymous town itself consists of a bar, the Jarl's house, and the pathetic Outlander college that probably caused the rest of the town to collapse in the fucking first place. Corir is up first. He's this Hold Stormcloak nominee, and the incumbent Jarl of Winterhold. Pretty much just a waste of space that spends every waking moment whining about his town being annihilated rather than trying to rebuild. So unfortunately, Winterhold is where Corir's political career is gonna stay and die. Dumbass. Kraldar is next. He's the Empire-backed nominee, and he won't let you forget it. Empire this, Empire that. Like, dude, calm down. The Imperials don't care about you or your has-been town, and I don't blame them. Not gonna be High King on our watch, right, folks? Right. On to Windhelm. Yeah, you all know this guy. I purposely saved Windhelm for last because I adore you wonderful viewers that goddamn much. Anyway, let's all give a cold and unwelcoming welcome to Jarl Ulfric Stormcloak, leader of the Stormcloak Rebellion and oppressor of the superior race known as the Dunmer. As Jarl of Windhelm, Ulfric has continued to ghettoize the poor Dunmer refugees from Morrowind in what may be the meanest and most insensitive policy of racial discrimination Tamriel has ever seen. His capital city is home to some of the most rabidly bigoted Nords in the land, most of them having no qualms about subjecting their downtrodden Dunmer neighbors to unfathomable abuses such as calling them grayskins. Never before has a Tamrielic race suffered such wretched injustices on a regular basis as the Dunmer suffer in the hold of Ulfric. In summary, Ulfric is a piece of shit, and he's gotta go. I don't really care what his other policies are. Dunmer matter more. Let's take a look at Ulfric's Imperial-backed challenger from Windhelm, Brunwulf Free Winter. All right, okay, a little ugly for sure. Definitely hasn't bathed in a while. Doesn't groom his beard, of that I'm quite certain. Probably says creepy things to women at bars. But listen, we've seen worse-looking bastards become High King, right? Let's look at the substance of his policy proposals. For one, he's a staunch defender of Dunmer rights, and openly criticizes the favoritism displayed by Ulfric Stormcloak toward Nords. All right, nice. I can work with that shit. And he's also an advocate for the rights of Argonians. Well, your loss, asshole.